What's up, fam? It's your girl, Naia, and today we are diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're checking out the 2025 GPD Win Mini Ryzen AI 9 370, and let me tell you, if this thing has incredible performance, I might just have to marry it. Seriously though, can you imagine the gaming power? I mean, my current setup is basically a potato with a Wi-Fi connection, so buckle up because I've got my popcorn ready, and I can't wait to see what this mini powerhouse is all about. Will it blow our minds or just blow up? Either way, you know I'm here for the laughs and the chaos. If you're as excited as I am, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video so we can keep this wild ride going together. Let's jump right in and see if this little gadget lives up to the hype.
This might look like a puny 7-inch netbook, but what we've got here is the new 2025 GPD Win Mini, and it's packing some serious horsepower. In fact, it outperforms the Steam Deck.
Outperforming the Steam Deck? That's a bold claim. If this little guy can actually deliver, it might just shake up the whole portable gaming scene. I mean, the Steam Deck has been the king for a minute, so if this mini can dethrone it, we're in for a wild ride.
The Legion Go and even the ROG Ally X, because they managed to pack the new Ryzen AI 9 HX 370 in this small form factor handheld gaming PC. What's going on, everybody? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new 2025 GPD Win Mini, and this is one that I'm super excited about. When it comes to the Win Mini, these are some of my favorite laptop/handhelds, and even with the 2024 model and the 2023, these have been my go-to when I go on trips, mainly because we've got a laptop form factor. We can get a lot of work done on this, given the performance that these things put out, and then when it's time to game, we've also got the built-in controls here. It's also a very small form factor unit, only coming in at 555 grams. Believe it or not, this will slide in your pocket. And
sliding into your pocket? That's wild. If this thing is truly portable, it could change the game for on-the-go gaming. I mean, who wouldn't want to whip out a mini gaming rig during a boring meeting? Just imagine the looks on people's faces.
And given that they added the new Ryzen AI 9 HX 370 here and up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, this thing is putting down more power than ever. Taking a look at the unit, as you can see, we've got that built-in QWERTY keyboard. It is backlit. It's
a backlit keyboard? Now that's a nice touch. It's like they thought of everything for late-night gaming sessions. No more fumbling around in the dark trying to find the right keys. This is definitely a win for those of us who like to game after hours.
It's using dome switches for each of these buttons, and when it comes to the built-in controls, we've got the recessed Hall-based analog sticks that actually perform really well, and as for the face buttons and the D-pad, these are basically the same thing that you'd find in the PS Vita. The screen is a 7-inch 120Hz IPS display at 1080p, and it does support FreeSync. It's basically the same thing that we saw in the ROG Ally and the Ally X. A variable refresh rate display is something that we always want to see in these handhelds, and I'm sure in the future we'll see more manufacturers use them, but you know, it's kind of few and far in between at the time of making this video, so I'm really glad they kept with this FreeSync display. The older Win Mini did have an Oculink port, but they did away with that and they've added a full-size USB 3.2 port, but with this we get USB 4, USB-C 3.2, a 3.5mm audio jack, and a micro SD card slot around back here. It's actually a V30 slot, so you can get some pretty decent speeds out of this thing. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the ergonomics here when it comes.
Ergonomics are key. If this thing feels good in your hands, it can make all the difference during those long gaming sessions. Comfort is everything, especially when you're trying to get that high score or beat a tough boss. If it's comfy, I'm all in.
When it comes to a laptop/handheld, I can reach all of the buttons really easily. Round back here, linear triggers and shoulder buttons. Does seem like we might have a little more throw than the original, and the whole unit is 2mm wider than the 2024 model. Over on the left-hand side, there is a game mode and a mouse mode switch. So if you did want to navigate the whole operating system with the analog sticks as your mouse, you could do it. Plus, we've got that built-in touchscreen and
a built-in touchscreen. That's a game changer. It adds so much versatility, making it easier to navigate and interact with apps. It's like they combined the best of both worlds: handheld gaming and a mini laptop experience. This could really enhance the overall user experience.
And a trackpad right here. So yeah, we've got a ton of different options using this as a mini laptop. Plus, obviously, we've got that built-in QWERTY keyboard. Using dome switches, backlit, it's just a single zone white LED. You can reach all of these buttons here. It is a bit of a stretch, especially with this newer model being a little wider than the older one, but it can definitely be done. And usually when I'm messing around with the keyboard, I've got this laying flat, or I'm just using it one-handed. But with the mini laptop form factor, it might be a bit flat for some people. That's why they actually include the new unibody grip.
A unibody grip? That's a smart addition. It's all about comfort, especially if you're gaming for hours. Having that extra grip can make a huge difference in how it feels in your hands. It's like they're really thinking about the user experience here.
So the old one was actually two different sections that we had to unscrew and reattach. This is a clip-on system, unibody design, and yeah, it definitely changes the whole ergonomics.
A unibody design really does sound like a game changer for ergonomics. It's all about that seamless feel when you're gaming or working. If it enhances comfort and usability, then they're definitely on the right track. Can't wait to see how it performs in action.
It does make it a bit more comfortable for those long-haul gaming sessions. If we take a look around back here, this thing hugs your palm perfectly. Your middle finger can fit right there in the rest. That way you can use your index finger for the triggers and shoulder buttons. And yeah, I think they did a good job with this design. The first one was a bit cumbersome because we did have to use 4 screws to attach it and detach it anytime you wanted to use that grip system. This one here just clips right on and you can pull it off super easily. And of course, when it comes to the overall specs of the new 2025 GPD Win Mini, we've got that AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX 370. They're also going to be selling this with the HX 365, but I personally haven't seen it yet. With the one I have here, we've got 12 cores, 24 threads, and a boost up to 5.1 gigahertz. Built-in Radeon 890M iGPU, and this is the one with 16 compute units based on RDNA 3.5, and it'll clock up to 2900 megahertz. You can pick this up with either 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes of RAM, choosing LPDDR5X at 7500, but from the BIOS we can actually take it up to 8000. I'll save that for my full review video. 2280 M.2 SSD up to 2 terabytes, and this is swapped out from that 2230 in the 2024 model. 120Hz 7-inch 1080p FreeSync display, 100% sRGB, 500 nits of brightness, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, a 44.2 watt-hour battery, and this thing is coming in at only 555 grams. Another new addition for the 2025 model is a different color option, and the Fox actually has the white version. He'll have a video up soon, so definitely keep an eye on his channel. I'll leave a link in the description, but it looks absolutely amazing.
It looks amazing. I'm all in. If the design is sleek and the performance matches, this could be a total game changer in the handheld market. I can already picture myself gaming on the go with style.
It's really hard to stress how small this thing is when you compare it to, let's say, the ROG Ally X or the Steam Deck OLED.
Comparing it to the ROG LEX and the Steam Deck OLED really puts its size into perspective. If it's that compact while still packing a punch, it could be a game changer for portability. I mean, who wouldn't want a powerhouse that fits in their pocket?
OLED, I did want to kind of give you a comparison, and with the Win Mini, it is a clamshell unit, but even when this thing is unfolded, I mean, it's still super small, and again, it's only coming in at 555 grams, and this is one of the big reasons I've always carried the Win Mini around when I travel, just because, I mean, this will slide in your pocket, you could throw it in an over-the-shoulder bag, and you really don't even know it's there. When this thing's folded up, it's not much bigger than the screens on both of these handhelds. Now it's time to take a look at some performance.
Finally, performance time. If this little beast can handle some serious gaming without breaking a sweat, it's going to be a must-have. I'm ready to see how it stacks up against the competition.
Performance. And the first game I wanted to test was Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk 2077? That's a bold choice. If this thing can run that game smoothly, it's definitely proving its worth. Let's see if it can handle the chaos of Night City without turning into a slideshow.
I've got this set to an 18-watt TDP. You can see from Afterburner it's kind of fluctuating between 15 up to 18. We're at 1080 low, FSR is set to balanced, and we're not using any kind of frame gen. You can see from that frame counter it is dipping under 60 every once in a while, but
dipping under 60? That's a bit concerning, especially for a game like Cyberpunk. If it can't maintain a steady frame rate, it might affect the overall experience. Let's hope it can stabilize during more intense moments.
But with this FreeSync display, if I didn't have that on, I mean, I'd be totally fine with it. No screen tearing or anything like that.
No screen tearing? That's a relief. If it can deliver a smooth experience without those annoying visual glitches, it's definitely a step in the right direction for portable gaming. Smooth gameplay is key, especially in a visually intense game like Cyberpunk.
If the only thing I changed here was the resolution and brought it down to 900p, we'd get an average of around 68 FPS at an 18-watt TDP. But what I like doing is using the built-in FSR frame gen and taking it up to medium settings, FSR set to quality, with a little more wattage thrown at it. And you can see, we're almost averaging 100 FPS with this game on the Win Mini. And keep in mind, we can go anywhere from 4 watts up to 35 watts with this handheld. So at 35 watts, we're definitely not going to see a ton of battery life out of it, but it really does up that performance. And with something like this, I usually just go down to 900p with newer AAA games, 15 to an 18-watt TDP, depending on what I'm running here, and have a really good time with it. But there is a lot more that you can get out of it by upping that wattage. The next thing I wanted to test out here was the D-pad, and
Testing the D-pad is crucial. A good D-pad can make or break your experience, especially for fighting games or platformers. If it's responsive and comfortable, that's a huge win for this handheld. Let's see how it performs.
Here was the D-pad, and it's the same D-pad we saw on the PS Vita. That was one of my favorite little consoles for fighting games. We had a ton of great stuff over there, so I figured this would work out really well. And I've got Marvel vs. Capcom 2 running here.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and now that's a classic. If the D-pad can handle those combos smoothly, it's definitely living up to the hype. Fighting games need precision, so I'm excited to see how it performs.
I can pull off these moves easily. The only thing is you do have to reach over that left analog stick the way all of the buttons are positioned. You can definitely get used to it, and it's not uncomfortable playing for a long period of time. Getting down to some more AAA gaming, here we have Black Myth Wukong. We're at 900p, definitely want to drop this one down to a lower wattage. 17-watt TDP, low settings with frame gen on. Not bad, and we could actually lower how much we're pulling from that battery by locking this down at 60, but the way it's set up right now, we're seeing an average of around 74 FPS.
Averaging around 74 FPS at 900p is solid. If it can maintain that while looking good, it's definitely a win for portable gaming. This could be a great option for those who want to enjoy EA titles on the go.
Yes. Doom Eternal, 1080, medium, 17-watt TDP.
Doom Eternal at 10A type on medium settings, that's a classic choice. If it can handle the fast-paced action smoothly, it's proving its worth as a portable powerhouse. Let's see how it performs in those intense moments.
TDP, no dynamic resolution scale, and with this, we're seeing an average of around 78 FPS. I knew we'd have a good time with it, but I always love going back to this game because it is a lot of fun.
Overwatch 2 at 10A type on medium settings, that's a great test. If it can keep up with the fast-paced action and maintain solid FPS, it's definitely proving its gaming chops. Let's see how it handles those team fights.
Overwatch 2, 1080, medium, 17-watt TDP, and I am using FSR 2.2 inside of the game. When it comes to esports games on that Ryzen AI 9 HX 370, I've seen some great performance out of basically everything that I've tested. Dota, Fortnite, CSGO, and of course Overwatch 2 here is more than playable.
Let's push forward.
Testing the final game, I'm curious to see what it is. If it can handle a variety of titles well, that's a strong indicator of its overall performance. Let's see how it wraps up this gaming session.
We have progressed farther than them.
And the final game I wanted to test here was God of War Ragnarok, 1080 low, frame gen on, 17-watt TDP. And if you take this up to around 22, you can go up to medium settings, same kind of thing here. but I'm really impressed by how well this runs on these Radeon GPUs. Even the 780M with frame gen on and something like the ROG Ally X just runs this game amazingly. And
if it runs God of War Ragnarok amazingly, that's a huge win. This shows the power of the hardware and how well it can handle demanding titles. It's impressive to see such performance in a handheld device.
And indoors, when there's not a lot of draw distance, this goes up to the hundreds. And I wanted to test at that 17 watt TDP because that's performance mode on most of the handhelds out there right now, minus the Steam Deck, which is 15 watts. But again, if we just lock this down at 60, you can see we're up in the 80s with it like it is. We can draw a lot less from that battery. And I would definitely suggest doing this because we've only got that 44.2 watt hour battery. The last thing I wanted to show off here was low TDP gaming.
Low TDP gaming is a smart move. If it can still deliver a fun experience while conserving battery life, that's a huge plus for portable gaming. Let's see how it performs in this mode.
With these easy to run 2D games and indie games, you can see some great battery life out of this little system. If you take a look at Afterburner, we're pulling close to 7 watts in total from the battery, and that's everything going on with the system. I've got the screen brightness at 50%, I've still got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on, and I've also done this at a 15 watt TDP and 28 with a couple AAA games just to kind of give us a battery life estimate here. And the way it looks right now, with the screen brightness at 50%, remember we've got that 44.2 watt hour battery, with 2D games and indie games, we can see 6+ hours of gameplay out of this.
6+ hours of gameplay for 2D and indie games? That's impressive. If it can deliver that kind of battery life, it makes this handheld even more appealing for on-the-go gaming, perfect for long trips or just chilling at home.
Bumping it up to a 15 watt TDP with AAA gaming, little over 2 hours, and at a 28 watt TDP, which is really pushing this,
Pushing it to a 28 watt TDP for AA gaming and getting about an hour and 10 minutes is solid. It's good to see how the battery life varies with different settings. This info is crucial for gamers who want to maximize their playtime on the go.
Around 1 hour and 10 minutes. So yeah, with that smaller battery life is going to be a concern, but we do charge at 65 watts here. So I always carry an extra battery pack with me anyway, and I've been able to get by with the original, which actually didn't get this much battery life. So first impressions here, I love the form factor, and I always have with the Win Mini. This is coming in at 2 millimeters wider than the original Win Mini, so it is just a tad bigger. It's really not too noticeable unless they're side by side. I do like the way the controller's set up here, and I personally really don't use the grip, but it does make it a bit more comfortable. I just don't want a lot of stuff to carry around with me, and without the grip, I can slide this in my pocket. I've been using the 2024 model for video editing on the go when I'm traveling, and of course gaming. This is definitely going to replace the 2024 model, given
If this is set to replace the 2024 model, it must be bringing some serious upgrades. It sounds like a solid choice for both gaming and productivity on the go. I'm excited to see how it performs in real-world use.
Model, given that we've got that new HX 370 here, just a lot more power, and it is more efficient than the 8000 series. It would be nice if it had a bigger battery, but then
A bigger battery would definitely enhance the experience. If it could support longer gaming sessions or productivity without needing a charge, that would be a game changer for portability. It's all about balancing power and battery life.
but then you're going to sacrifice that form factor. If you want something this small, I mean, the way GPD has it set up, it's already packed internally. You couldn't fit a bigger battery in here the way it is, so the chassis would need to be thicker or a bit longer, and then you really just don't have that mini form factor. So I always carry a battery bank with me anyway for my other devices. I personally don't mind using it on the go, and if I'm editing on this, I'm usually in a room so I can plug directly into wall power. These are definitely some of my favorite little handheld / mini laptops on the market right now, and
If these are some of the favorite handhelds and mini laptops on the market, it really speaks to their quality and versatility. It's exciting to see how they're evolving and what they can offer for both gaming and productivity.
I'm really glad that GPD came to the market with that new Ryzen AI chip. But that's going to wrap it up for my first look video. I want to spend a few more days with this, and of course, we need to install Linux on this, see how it performs. I got a good feeling we're going to see some amazing performance out of this with something like Bazi installed. But until then, if there's anything else you want to see running on the new 2025 GPD Win Mini, just let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning a little more, I will leave links in the description. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.
All right, fam, that's a wrap on our wild ride through the 2025 GPD Win Mini Ryzen AI 370 first look with ETA PRIME. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how close I was to proposing? Seriously, the performance and features had me feeling some kind of way. From outperforming the Steam Deck to the ergonomic unibody design, it seems like this mini beast is trying to be everything I didn't know I needed in my life. Now, were my expectations met? Honestly, they blew up my expectations like my gaming setup when it's in its power-saving mode. If this thing can run Cyberpunk 2077 without hitting the cringe levels of frame drops, I might just start a fan club. In conclusion, the potential this gadget has for on-the-go gaming and comfort is next level, like courtside seat at the finals level. But hey, let's keep it real. We all know the battery life needs some serious love if we're gonna game for hours without locating a charger in the wild. Big shout out to those 6+ hours for Twoozy and indie games though. That's what I call a mini miracle. And before I head off, have you ever tried gaming in a meeting? Just remember, if you get caught, the best excuse is it's educational research, right? Remember to smash that like button and subscribe for more laughs and reactions. Keep it cozy, and catch you in the next video.